The energy in the MMA world has reached a fever pitch. Two of the most electric fighters in the UFC, Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan, are on a collision course that fans didn't see coming, but now desperately need. At the same time, another wild card has emerged, and he's not just standing on the sidelines. Michael Venom Page MVP has entered the fray in typical MVP fashion, calling out welterweight champion Leon Edwards for a showdown that could throw the division into chaos. These storylines, intersecting in intensity and style, are shaping a new era for the UFC, an era where flair, skill, and danger blend into something entirely unpredictable. The fight between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan is more than a battle between two elite athletes. It is a referendum on the evolution of mixed martial arts. The stakes are massive. One is a knockout artist who just dethroned a dominant champion. The other is a technical wizard with an engine that doesn't quit. Their fight, still in the discussion stages, represents a style clash that's bound to define who the next generation of champions truly are. And at the center of this conversation is someone who's always defied expectations in VP, who's never been shy to stir the pot, and now has his sights on a champion known for quiet composure and icy precision, Leon "Rocky" Edwards. But first, let's understand why Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan has captivated the fan base and fight community alike. Ilia Topuria's rise has been nothing short of cinematic. After a string of brutal knockouts, culminating in his masterclass against Alexander Volkanovski, Topuria catapulted himself into superstardom. His confidence is unwavering, his power is frightening, and his ability to control the pace and land bombs from angles that leave opponents unconscious has turned him into the UFC's newest star. Yet, beyond the knockouts, he's a master strategist, adjusting and evolving mid-fight with a calmness that belies his youth. Opposing him is Arman Tsarukyan, the Armenian-Russian lightweight with one of the most polished games in the sport. His fight IQ is off the charts. He outgrappled and outstruck Boneo Dariush and neutralized Mateusz Gamrot with slick, efficient technique. Tsarukyan's cardio is a weapon. His wrestling is relentless, and his striking, once criticized for lacking flair, has sharpened into a formidable tool that sets up his ground dominance. There are no wasted movements, no unnecessary showmanship, just cold, calculating brilliance. When asked about how he would approach Topuria, Tsarukyan didn't blink. He's tough, he's dangerous, but I don't get hit like Volkanovski. I don't stand there. He's not going to find my chin. I'll drown him. That's the kind of language that sets the internet on fire. It's also what makes this fight so compelling. Topuria doesn't shy away from predictions either. He's a good kid, but he hasn't faced someone like me. I'm not Banale. I hit different. I change lives. This isn't just a battle of resume. It's a battle of mentality. Topuria fights with a chip on his shoulder, channeling that into aggression that finishes fights. Tsarukyan, on the other hand, appears like a professor in a war zone calm, methodical, ice cold. His goal isn't to punish, it's to dominate and expose. The fans are split. Some believe Topuria's knockout power and momentum will carry him through. Others think Tsarukyan's versatility will frustrate and eventually smother the Spaniard-Georgian powerhouse. MMA analysts are equally divided. Daniel Cormier leans toward Tsarukyan, citing his ability to control fights and avoid big damage. Michael Bisping, however, sees Topuria's power as the great equalizer. All it takes is one, Bisping said. Ilia doesn't need 10 punches. He just needs the right one. And then, in the middle of all this noise, Michael Venom Page decides to strike with his own brand of chaos. Fresh off his UFC debut, where he dismantled Kevin Holland with surgical precision, MVP took the mic and delivered a message that instantly broke the internet. Leon Edwards, I respect you, but it's time to bring excitement back to the welterweight division. You and me. Oh, to arena. Let's show the world what British fighters really look like. That statement sent shockwaves across the UFC universe. Edwards, a disciplined technician with an 11-fight win streak, isn't known for trash talk. But even he couldn't ignore the boldness of MVP. When asked about it during a media scrum, Leon simply said, "We'll see. He's flashy, but I'm champion for a reason. You don't beat me with dancing. You beat me with violence." It's a tantalizing proposition. Edwards, who fought his way through the toughest names at 170, including Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, now finds himself being called out by a showman who built his name outside the UFC, but has the skill to back it up. MVP has long been seen as more style than substance. But that narrative is dying. His dismantling of Holland, who's known for his toughness and creativity, was a statement. He didn't just win, he humiliated now. With MVP eyeing Edwards and Topuria and Tsarukyan on a collision course, the UFC finds itself at a crossroads. The old guard is being pushed out, and a new class is demanding their place. The timing couldn't be better. The UFC has long needed a new influx of narrative, one not based on old rivalries or fading names, but fresh blood and legitimate tension. And that's what this moment feels like. If Topuria and Tsarukyan meet, it will be the kind of technical, dangerous fight that defines era. If MVP and Edwards fight, it'll be a cultural clash, precision versus flamboyance, stoicism versus swagger. And through it all, the question will linger. Who's really the next face of the UFC? But back to the heart of the debate. Who wins? Between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan, it's a near impossible question. On paper, Tsarukyan has more tools. He can wrestle, strike, defend, and transition with world-class fluidity. His gas tank has never been a question. His composure is elite, but Topuria has something intangible. That X factor, that ability to end fights in seconds. He has the swagger of a man who's already seen the end and knows he's the one writing the story. Fight predictions, as any veteran of this sport will tell you, are often a fool's game. But still, everyone makes them. MVP, during a podcast appearance, was asked who he thinks wins. He smiled and paused before saying, if Tsarukyan avoids the storm early, he takes it. But if Ilia touches that chin once, that's it. Lights out. Coming from a man whose own style thrives on unpredictability and knockout finishes. That's high praise. And MVP's own campaign for a title shot isn't just talk. He's made it clear he wants to fight the best. Whether he gets Edwards or someone like Bilal Muhammad, he's here to make a run, and he's not interested in slow climbs. I'm not a prospect, he said. I'm a problem. The UFC matchmakers have tough decisions ahead. Fans want Topuria versus Tsarukyan. They want MVP versus Edwards. They want clarity in a sport that thrives on chaos. And the fighters, they're not here to wait around. They want to fight. They want gold. They want legacy. If these matchups get booked, the landscape of the UFC could shift dramatically. A Tsarukyan win would mark the rise of methodical excellence. A Topuria win would signal the reign of the knockout king. An MVP win over Edwards would shatter assumptions about Bellator, imports, and challenge the idea that UFC fighters are untouchable. And Edwards' victory would reinforce what purists already believe, that technical fundamentals always beat flash. But in this era, moments matter more than resumes. One viral knockout can elevate a fighter into superstar. Performance can change a career overnight. And that's what these fighters are chasing. Not just belts, but moments. Legacy-defining, era-defining moments. As the anticipation builds, fans will take sides. Social media will turn into a battleground of predictions, memes, analysis, and debate. Fight night, should it all come together, will be an electric moment in combat sports history. And whether it's Topuria's right hand, Tsarukyan's smothering buns, MVP's dance and sting, or Edwards' ice-cold jab, the only guarantee is that we're witnessing something special. These aren't just fights. These are declarations. Declarations of supremacy, ambition, and hunger. Declarations that the next era is not coming. It's already here. And while analysts break down tape and fans argue over stats, the fighters are in the gym, preparing. Somewhere in Spain, Ilia Topuria is perfecting that explosive counter. In Russia, Tsarukyan is drilling transitions. In London, MVP is planning his next viral finish. And in Birmingham, Edwards is sharpening the weapons that made him champion. All paths are converging. All roads lead to war. And when that bell rings, whether it's in Las Vegas, London, or Abu Dhabi, it won't just be about who wins. It will be about who defines the future. Because in the UFC, greatness isn't given, it's taken.